Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast, where we talk about genre stuff that's horror, sci-fi, fantasy. I'm Freddy. That's Amy.
That's me.
And Andy.
Hello.
That's your first clue. The theme, supernatural horror.
Mm-hmm.
They were busting balls because it was so broad.
So broad.
We throw themes and ideas in the hat, little tiny pieces of paper.
Yep.
And then Amy picks one. We'll be doing it tonight at the end of this episode.
Oh, shit, that's right.
To see what we're doing for our next series of podcasts. But this one, we pulled supernatural horror. And this one, I think, is the best of the bunch.
The movie?
The others.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how to pronounce the last name of the director? I know it's Alejandro, and then I think it's Amenabar, but I'm not sure.
That's close enough, I think.
I've seen another movie, Thesis. Do you remember Thesis or Thesis by this guy? It was really good. Very different than this movie.
Right.
Like more based in kind of like reality. Like it's about snuff film.
Yeah.
But it's pretty creepy.
It's quite different.
Yeah. This movie feels like an old movie, but we'll get into it.
Yes.
Yeah. We had HorrorHound Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Andy bit off the biggest piece of HorrorHound Weekend.
How'd it
It's
taste?
a little too big of a piece.
Oh, dear.
Tired.
Very tired.
Although, thankfully, the rain stopped me from going Sunday.
Yeah.
Took the day off.
Yeah. Well, between that, I was going to go, but I was tired, and then it started raining. Like, that gives me a good excuse to tap out.
Yep. Yep.
But Andy got a bunch of great pictures of the panels and
I
some
love
other
a
things.
panel, don't you?
I do too, yeah. Especially like I went to two.
Yeah, tell us
this
about
time.
panels.
Did you do?
We did
Sci-Fi?
share.
Technically, no. The one I saw was I saw the last part of the indie filmmaker,
Okay.
and then the other one I saw was the
Terrifier.
Terrifier panel.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good. That's one of my favorite parts of HorrorHound Weekend. They have good guest list, and when they have the guests, they have panels, and that's another great part of HorrorHound Weekend. You get to get some insight from filmmakers and stuff like that.
That Terrifier group, they seem like a real team.
Yeah,
and
like
they
and
really
tight
like each
knit.
other. Yeah, yeah. I was really enamored with the guy who plays Art the Clown.
Yeah.
I thought he was super charming, and he was really funny, and he just seemed sweet. He used to be a school teacher.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And then the two kids in it.
You think that's what drove him into horror?
Maybe.
It's
like I get to murder
It's like I survived
young people?
teaching.
And it's
Screen?
always fun, like Damien Leone, you see him talk about it. He's animated and kind of, he's like a New Yorker, you know.
Yeah, I had no idea he had such a thick accent. It was fun to hear him talk.
Yeah, it was a good panel. And you did one with Henry Winkler.
Yeah. It's a very not traditional one.
Right.
He there was no moderator. He just stood by himself and told stories about his life and career. And it was moving.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had like dyslexia, and he's written like 40 children's books about that. And a couple like teachers in the audience stood up and said like how much it meant to them and their students.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
We were lucky to see him one other time at something, a benefit for a school.
Yeah.
And he was one of he was the keynote.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really neat. I love to see what some of these actors and directors do with their downtime like that. And you're like, wow, that's a pretty 40 of them, 40 books.
And I don't want to infantilize him because he's a grown-ass man, but he's just adorable.
Yeah. Do you just want to pinch
I
him?
did. And he's little, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can pick him up and spun him around.
Yeah.
I walked by Barbara Hershey. She also, I could pick her up, spin her around. Let's do that with them together. Wouldn't that be adorable?
I'm sure they'll love that if you pick them up and spun them around.
That's good to
Costs
do
a
to
little
people
extra,
in there.
though.
Just a little extra. Michael Rooker's into
know
that
that
sort of stuff, though.
Yeah.
And the whole time, Henry Winkler had this like crossbody like satchel with him. I was like, "That's your money bag, isn't it?" It's like he's keeping it close to his chest.
Money bags.
If you want to see, I think maybe Henry Winkler's best work, you got to watch Barry. The show's awesome, and he plays Gene Cousineau, the drama teacher, or acting teacher, that turns Barry's life around. I threw up air quotes around turns his life around,
Right.
because clearly that shows us just a series of funny tragedies, really. But man, Henry Winkler's so good in it.
He won an Emmy for it, I think.
Did he?
Yeah.
He deserved it. He's really good. He vacillates between like super sweet, like you were saying, like the real Henry Winkler, I think, and then also real self-interested and sleazy. Like the arc of the character's great.
He's got some sleaze in him.
Yeah, great performer.
We watched a couple of movie shorts. One called Stomach It, which was didn't quite do it for me.
Was it gross? Because the title suggests that it's gross.
Yeah, well, it's about a crime scene cleaner. The person who comes by and cleans up after the bloody mess that's been left behind, which is great. It's a rich area for exploration, I think, in the horror genre.
It looked really polished.
Yeah.
But it didn't have like a lot of personality.
Story was lacking.
Yeah.
And then we watched...
Don't Forget the Cat.
Did you remember the cat?
Something like that, yeah. That sounds right.
Which is about a couple who are escaping their home that has some sort of supernatural monster inhabiting it. They're the only two that escape. Everybody else is dead. They're like, whew, we got out. Phew. And then she's like, but did you remember the cat? So they have to go back into the house to get the cat.
It's a cute premise.
It is a cute premise.
Is it more of a comedy?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
And I'll tell you, there was a thing that I wanted to get. This is not how it goes, so I'm not spoiling it. But I wanted the cat to kill the monster, and then for the owners to make the "Who rescued who" joke. And that was like kind of
spoiler, that did not happen.
That didn't happen, but it should have happened. Like because it's there already written for you. It's out there.
We'll make your own shorts.
Yeah, I don't feel like it.
You just want to make
I just want to point out shortcomings in others.
Yeah, it's a silly reason to make a short just for that one joke.
Yeah. I mean, because otherwise the actors had a lot of like charisma.
How was the cat?
You never really see it.
Oh no, it's hard to direct a cat.
Yeah, the cat's not a big part of it really.
Yeah, if you're trying to do it on a shoestring budget, you're not going to have money for a trained cat
or a talking cat.
Talking cat.
Would you go back for the cat?
We've been in this scenario, but it was a fire.
We did. We were awoken by a fire in our house, and both of us ran out of the house before we realized we did not bring the dog with us.
Yeah,
she was just standing there. Then we got her.
The cat hid.
The cat hid.
We didn't know where she was, and we thought for sure she was dead
because the house was so full of smoke. There's no way, but she was fine.
Okay.
So we've been in this situation. I left the cat behind.
Yep.
I mean, I did go into the house and try to find her.
What's scarier, a fire or a monster?
A monster.
Well, depends on the monster.
Yeah.
Well, in the movie, in this short, was it a scary monster?
Pretty scary.
If I saw that,
would you
coming
have
at
gone
me,
back for it faced with this monster?
I don't know. I love my animals an awful lot, but I can tell you, like, I couldn't make it through a wall of smoke to save.
You know what? Not after what she just did.
I really appreciate what firemen and women do. Fire people.
So you
dog just farted really, really bad.
You leave Elsa behind now because
she's out. You're out, kid.
She's probably the cause of the fire.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God, it's so bad. Gas. Anyway, HorrorHound.
Oh, and I forgot to say the other panel I went to is Ty West.
Oh yeah, Ty West, director of The Roost.
Yes, that's what he's known for.
House of the Devil, probably his most
Innkeepers.
Yeah, and his new series,
the Pearl trilogy.
Pearl, yeah. Wow, he did a Western in the middle of all that too.
Yeah.
That I didn't see. I seen everything else except for Maxine and the Western.
Yeah, his panel is very movie nerdy, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times, like the people ask questions about what was working with this actor like, or like very basic questions,
right?
Which is funny because there's a moment in the Terrifier panel that just made the whole audience laugh because of the way this one lady asked the question.
It sounded like she was shitting on all the people that asked the other questions.
Yeah. She was. It sounded like.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not gonna ask you what's your favorite film or whatever.
What's your favorite scary movie? It's like, I'm not gonna ask a question like an easy question like that.
And she's like, punk rock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you what you hate.
Yeah,
And then she was like, what did you hate?
which
Really?
is kind of like
More or less.
kind of a basic question in itself.
Yeah. But they had good answers for
Yeah.
everything. They were a very giving group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was funny. I don't know if the person asking the question meant it to come out that way, but it sounded like she was just being shitty to everyone who asked questions.
It was the tone that she said it.
Yeah, because she had waited in line.
Yeah.
You got to imagine a line of people waiting for a microphone, and then 10 people in front of you ask these questions. Then you decide to go up there, and the first thing you say is, "How about these idiots back
You
here?"
know.
Well, it was just very unnecessary
pick-me
to add,
shit.
add that little thing before they actually asked the question itself.
Yeah, it
She
was
could have just
funny.
asked her question.
Yeah, she just needed to ask it.
She's not like the other girls.
Yeah, she's different.
Yeah.
She was like, "I'm different."
She's so quirky.
We sat with a fun couple during the Terrifier panel where one of them was dressed as Art the Clown and the other one was in an Art the Clown kind of, what would you call that? What do they call it? At bounding? Is that right?
No, she was dressed as a clown, basically. So
Yeah.
she's not really bounding. She's
I mean,
dressed as
she didn't have the Art the Clown
bounding
makeup, but she
through
had
the
kind of a
forest?
similar style.
I mean, she had a clown outfit on.
Yeah, it was
She was
like Art's
hinting?
outfit.
Yeah.
And she had makeup,
Yeah.
like clown makeup, but it was different. So they were doing their thing, and they were super sweet.
Yeah. Like every time there was applause, he would honk his little horn.
Yeah.
No.
It was cute.
I loved it. I had a great time at that panel.
Yeah.
Highlight of the weekend for me, I think.
It was a packed house, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
That's always like nice to see when they have a good crowd in the
Oh, they had a
panel.
good enough crowd that I think it gave me a little bit of a panic attack,
Yeah.
and I had to turn around.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I did not attend.
Yeah,
So I was like, I'm not going to go jam myself in between two other people
yeah.
that I've never met. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Not gonna
Not gonna die.
die.
So we didn't see the features. I didn't get to talk to half of the people that I like to see every time we go, but we were barely
It was
there.
well,
You
we
and
were
I.
there.
I mean, a
decent amount of
total
time.
of maybe 4 hours or so for us.
Yeah, but
But we got around a little bit.
yeah,
We got to bob around, catch up with a couple of people.
HorrorHound's always a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And shout out to our friend Alexander Hamilton
Yeah.
and his little HorrorHound Underground that he did downstairs.
He did a great job.
It was like a artist collective type thing.
Yeah,
I love there was an
he's
area
got great plans for the future too.
where he was just screening. Was that the Shelbyville Drive-In that was doing that? Were they-
Maybe.
Were they in charge
Yeah.
of that part?
But it was just a nice little area you
Skyline?
can just relax.
I meant the Skyline, yeah. It's in Shelbyville.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Skyline Drive-In. What a great drive-in.
mm-hmm.
We finally got to go there for movies. We went to a friend's wedding there years ago, but we just went to the Drive-In Massacre. Not Drive-In Massacre.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay, Drive-In Massacre.
yeah. We talked about that one.
Yeah. It's a good time. I love that. Drive-ins and trash movies and horror movies.
Hell yeah.
Well, driving season's coming up.
It is. I hope we get some good stuff. Some
It's
good stuff.
rapidly springing out there.
And Amy and I, we're not going anywhere.
Ever.
So we might as well go to the drive-in.
You know it.
Yeah.
Actually, went by myself a couple times last year.
Yeah?
It's very freeing, nice experience.
Real
Yeah, I
relaxing.
bet.
I bet. Did you sleep at any point?
No,
No? Didn't you make
They
it
show
through
good movies,
all the
yeah.
movies? Yeah.
at one like last October, I went 3 times in 1 month. 2 times to the Shelbyville, the Skyline Drive-In, and
Yeah, you went for Joe Bob too, right?
yeah, and actually went 4 times that month. Twice to our local drive-in,
The
and
holiday.
then twice to Indiana.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm
We
excited.
are lucky.
I think that's going to be our thing now once it's warm. We
Could
should
be
just
our
do
thing.
the drive-in again. Let's just go back to the drive-in as much as possible.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, hit the microphone.
Oh my God, the professionalism.
I know. Can you believe it? Did you want to move on?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Turn out lights, it's the main attraction. Hey y'all, we all decided since Monica did not get back to us in time, we wanted to pick something to fit the theme for this main attraction. We chose The Others. And I think we were all like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
The Conjuring wishes.
This is even better than I remembered it being, honestly.
Yeah, I did. I love this movie, and I watched it on my DVD copy.
What?
Ooh.
Old school.
You have the commentary on it?
Yeah, it has
Physical media.
It's a 2-disc.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had the commentary, but like the second disc had like all the extras and stuff.
You're like, not a Blu-ray.
Yeah. No.
A DVD.
Yeah, this is I probably bought it when it came out, so like it's vintage at this point.
Wow.
Andy, have you always been a Nicole Kidman fan?
Oh yeah, like the movie I picked for Podcaster's Choice was Birth with Nicole Kidman. And I talk about my love for her.
We need to keep her away from children, apparently, if these two movies are what we're judging her on. She's just one of the greatest actors of all time, maybe.
And I like the
She is. Reluctantly I say that because sometimes she comes across really cold.
Yeah.
But
I think only when it calls for it. Or when she chooses.
well, like that's
I'm
when
into
she's
it.
best though, because sometimes she goes like slumming and tries to like do like
be a person.
be like play like regular roles, and it's not as successful.
I can't think of any regular people roles that she's done off the top of my head. Every time I've seen her in something, she's some like
What's that murder one on the boat?
Dead
Calm. Yeah,
But that was like 80s, like 89.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that was like really early in her
Before
career.
she started getting all the plastic surgery.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like the behind the scenes stuff with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, yeah.
interesting to see his name as producer Tom Cruise.
And Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Yee.
That too.
Yeah. That's the worst thing is like Dimension did all this great stuff in genre movies, and then his fingerprints, Harvey Weinstein's Greasy, Porky,
Miramax though.
Miramax, and Dimension were all one big like Dimension was their genre arm.
Okay.
So like when they were making anything that was like like stuff we talk about was usually under Dimension.
Okay.
Like Phantoms with Ben Affleck, for instance.
Which I remember enjoying. I bet you it's bad.
It's bad, but it's a fun movie.
And the director of this movie, he directed the original was the Spanish version of Vanilla Sky, which Tom Cruise starred in the American remake.
Didn't he also? He didn't direct the American remake too.
No, that was Cameron Crowe.
Cameron Crowe did it. Open Your Eyes.
Yeah.
That was the name of the Spanish version. And this movie, The Others, is considered a Spanish movie. The writer-director Alejandro Amenabar, which I said before, I hope I got right. Not only did he write and direct it, but he composed the score.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Triple threat.
It would be something if one of those legs was not, all three legs are super strong. And I was reading that, like, apparently there was this BBC, I think it was BBC, there was this horror anthology series that I think he got the idea for the story from.
It does. Well, I mean, obviously, because it stars like takes place in Britain, but just feels very British.
Oh, it's super deeply British. It's very stiff upper lip.
The most British Spanish movie ever made.
Yep. With an Australian chick.
Yeah. I was going to say, I tried to find I went to YouTube. When I say try to find, that's mostly where I searched to find the shorts that that this was kind of based on.
What was the name?
That's the thing. I was just pulling it back up because I thought I had it. It was I'll pull it up here in a second.
Okay.
You guys keep talking about the others.
Okay.
And also, if you haven't seen this movie, there's gonna be spoilers ahead. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, this movie does have a really big twist.
It's from 2001.
Yeah.
Though.
Armchair Theater from 1956. This was a show that ran on British television for kind of like soap operas run here, like forever. So it was done once as The Others in 1970, and then it was remade in 1973 as Voices on the same series. So it was one of those like live playhouse type things, I guess.
Okay.
Because people compare this to Turn of the Screw a lot, but the story is, even though the setting and everything is very similar, the story is not the same.
I've never read Turn of the Screw. Always meant to get around to it.
It's right up your alley.
All right, I'll get on that.
I will say the writer-director of this, I'm trying to be good and not talk about this horrid dog fart Elsa is unleashed.
Man, it's your turn.
But Thesis was in that one I mentioned earlier. That's a good one. That's
Okay.
Spanish language. Yeah.
Guys, who are the others? What is the title referring to? Who are
I think it's
others?
the Victor's family, right?
It could be both considered themselves. I mean, Nicole
Perspective.
Kidman's family could be considered others, and
Yeah, it depends on perspective. Though,
the
doesn't
live
it?
family can be considered others.
Yeah, but it's from
Oh God,
Nicole
it's drifting
Kidman's
over here.
perspective. Yeah, isn't it
Sorry.
awful?
Yeah,
Dog fart, guys.
It's
sorry, I
got like
thought it was safe.
it
I
smells
feed
like
her good food. I swear it.
you can smell like kind of an earthiness and some grass notes in there. But I think since it's from Grace's perspective and the kid's perspective, that the others are Victor's family. If you shift the perspective,
Right.
I think it could be any of them. Like Andy was saying, it could be any of them. It's such a spooky title. It leaves you with nothing, no certainty.
Or it could be the servants.
Yeah. Which you feel the first time you see this movie, you feel like the others are the servants because they show up when Nicole Kidman and the kids are the only ones left in the house because the staff has fled. And this new staff just shows up. And yeah, that's who you would think the others are, these three weirdos.
It's
All of the above.
understandable they fled, because if she was my boss and I lived in where the servants' quarters lived, I would also flee.
And having to keep those curtains closed all the time.
They did not treat their servants very well.
No.
No.
The whole curtains and doors thing. So keeping all the curtains closed, keeping all the doors closed, because you can't let light hit the children because the children are photosensitive and they're allergic to light. And
It's a real disease.
yeah. No, I'm just saying.
It's called being a vampire.
Hate you. I loved the sounds that it all made. I loved the sounds of all the doors
Oh, and the keys.
closing and opening, and the keys and the locks and the swishing of the curtains. The sound design was to die.
ASMR kind of.
And that's what this is a great example. This movie is a great example of Kiss, Keep It Simple, Stupid.
Yeah.
And I hate to compare it to like The Conjuring, which we saw last week.
Well, we watched
Insidious, sorry.
Yeah.
Where it like beats you over the head with everything.
Yeah.
And this one just lets it play out and keeps it like simple.
Yeah. There's a few overt moments in the movie, but the rest of it is like sounds, like you're saying, and light and little snippets of something wrong.
Right.
My favorite.
All the curtains going missing.
And so we always spoil these, but I want to get the spoiler. I think it's best to get the spoiler out of the way right away, right?
Of course.
That she's killed the children and herself.
And they are goose.
And from the beginning of this movie on, they are already ghosts. And I assume
They just don't know it.
when she says the staff fled, I hit my microphone again.
Good Lord.
I just want to beat it up. So the part of it that I was wondering about, that I've always wondered about, is did the staff leave when she did that? Do you think that's what she was referring to?
I think that's what kind of drove her over the edge.
Yeah, was the staff leaving.
Yeah.
So, because that was what I thought too, was that was her motivation. So
Because like she was trapped there by herself and the kids.
Oh, so you think
the staff fled because of the German
before
occupation?
Yeah.
the death?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just assumed that she woke up one day and they were gone because she had died.
Yeah. But it's like that's
And
how
so they weren't there anymore.
this movie doesn't spoon feed you.
Right. You can interpret
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right.
But I do think that you're right, Andy. I think that it was part of why she killed herself. And I guess that they must have fled because Jersey was a place where the Nazis, I think, had bases at one point or something, or they came in and totally occupied Jersey. I think. I'm not a
She
history
mentions
person.
that they don't have they don't bother with electricity anymore because the Germans kept cutting it off.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't have electricity.
So this movie
But
starts in what,
really, the house does have
1945,
electricity.
I think, or 46, something like that.
It
when,
didn't say.
Well,
That's when
From-
Victor's family shows
Yeah.
up.
Well, like from her perspective, we don't know exactly when Victor's family shows up.
Well,
Like
it
who
says,
knows?
Yeah, I think they were like, I think there was an exact number on that. I'll check.
I know she said that her husband went off to war in 1940 or something happened in 1940. But the way they were discussing, the war was over. So it had to have been.
After 45.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was some reference to Victor's family. Something, maybe it was the car or something they had. Supposed to be a giveaway. But anyways, I think it's before 50, right?
Yeah.
I think we all say it was definitely before 1950. We're all in agreement.
Sure.
Okay, like when did you guys see this in the theater? or like
I think so.
or previously when it came out. Did you guys? Was it surprising to you, the twist?
I think so. I don't really remember because I didn't really remember the full twist. I remembered that she had killed the children, but I couldn't remember anything else. I didn't know, what was going on with the servants or the kids or anything like that. But
Blind's medium.
I bet you it was like, what, in 2001.
Yeah, and this was even after Sixth Sense, where it was kind of all those copycat movies came out afterwards.
Yeah.
And so like they did it so well that it was still surprising.
Yeah, this has Twilight Zone dripping all off of it, because you got it's that kind of twist. But I love the groundwork that they lay for the big payoff in the end with the daguerreotypes of all the dead people.
Yeah.
And I love that the servants, they all just died exactly at the same time of cholera or tuberculosis. And that their pictures, all three of them together. I like the economy of that, where the director is just like, yes, maybe they didn't all die exactly at the same time and got this, but for our cases, it's cool to have the picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's Mr. Tuttle and the Irish lady and the
Mrs.
Lydia.
Mills and Lydia.
I guess this is one example of the movie spoon feeding you.
Oh, it's scary though.
Yeah, it is so
more
scary,
than-
but like
it serves so many purposes because it moves the story forward. It's scary,
and it also like serves another purpose. How like the servers couldn't leave because they felt it was like home to them,
Right.
and it makes you think like, why would this family take a picture of the servants even after they died? So that shows like how much actually
they cared about.
cared about them.
Yeah, well, I think that's the truth of like the whole upstairs downstairs. Like in a lot of situations, that was your entire life. Like, didn't even like parents pass that job on to children sometimes. It's a good job, I guess, for the time.
Yeah. So what I thought was interesting was, I thought something would come to me.
Was it the stuff about the Catholicism? Because the kids they talk about limbo a lot, and I'm not Catholic, but my understanding is unbaptized babies go to limbo, right? I don't know. None of the three of us are Catholic, but I think that's where they go. Anyways, like these kids haven't been confirmed yet, right? They're doing the catechism or whatever.
Right,
So
they're working on.
So not only did
that.
she kill them, she killed them like before they were even like.
You usually get baptized when you're a baby.
Yeah, but the catechism part of it, the confirmation or whatever, that hadn't happened for these kids yet, because that's why she had the veiled dress.
Right.
Was for all that. She had a nice white dress.
She
and a
killed
party
them
on her
before they
confirmation.
could be in heaven. That's why they were stuck there.
That's why the kids maybe thought they
And
were.
she's stuck there.
but
Because
then
she's a suicide.
but none of that might be true. At
But
the
shouldn't
end,
she go to hell?
at the end, there might not be a God, because they're asking her the questions that she had answers for in the first and second acts,
Right.
and she says, "I don't know."
That's true.
So like that's a whole nother layer of stuff. She might not even believe in God anymore. And these kids they were being raised up in something that she might not have even really believed, but she's still shoving it down their throats because she's trying to save their souls because she killed them.
Right.
Jesus, that's wild fucking shit, man. you know?
Freddy did the mind-blowing gesture where he puts his hand by his head, like, mind-blowing.
It is. It's so deep.
You just like inceptioned yourself or something.
It's such a deep character. Like her character has gone through committing, the unforgivable sin, but not going to hell and having like this chance to. Is it a second chance? What is it? Is it punishment? Yeah. Oof! It's never doesn't give you any answers.
And also, I think the movie this time hit a little harder for me the first time I saw them from when it came out 20 years ago, because we're like in our middle age now, and we've all experienced being caretakers.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've all experienced surviving a pandemic where we couldn't leave the house at all. And so it's a little more relatable to the Grace's character.
I hadn't really thought about it from that angle. Yeah. You're right.
All my servants are
left.
buried in the backyard.
Did you take a picture of them though? That was nice.
So
No,
nice
but
of you.
I think it just hits harder this time because you don't know how far you can be pushed, because you think like, oh, she did something so unforgivable and unfathomable to like a normal person, but after you've been through what she's been through, like it's still an awful thing to do, but it's understandable.
Well, you hear that from people who kill their children sometimes, that they think they're protecting the children from something. And in this,
Right.
she smothered him with pillows, and there's a super creepy foreshadowing when you know it and you watch it again, and then there's a little girl is trying to make herself hyperventilate, and she just tells her to stop breathing over and over again.
Right.
And like that's creepy, man. That's a chilling ass moment when you know.
Well, she had full on attacks her later.
Well, it's because
little girl.
She sees her as the medium, who's
Well,
like,
yeah.
she's all kinds of off the
She's
chain
mad.
crazy. Yeah, she's mad. She is your daughter. Are you mad? I am your daughter. I can't do a little girl voice, but that's pretty close.
You know,
That was a pretty
Uncanny.
decent old lady voice, though.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
please do.
I am your daughter. Are you mad?
Oh, little Nicholas.
That kid was fucking adorable as shit.
Little Nicholas was so cute.
Cute as a button.
I wanted to pinch his cheek.
And he had the accent.
Mm-hmm.
The little freckles.
Yeah.
And he could be in that subreddit like 13 or 40. What is it called?
13 or 30.
13 or 30.
Oh, he would be such a sad looking old man.
Yeah, but he did like he's a cute little kid, but he has this very British old man energy
He's got a
and look
vibe.
about him.
Well, they dress him in those real conservative pajamas.
Yeah.
So he the last thing he acted in was in 2010. So I guess he has moved on.
I loved the concept of the Victor's family, the new people living in the home, now that everybody else is dead. They've brought in a medium. They've brought in...
She's more of a small. She was real tiny.
Yeah. Look at you.
She was fragile.
Of that bleeding through a couple of times before you get the big scene at the end. You can hear them, or our characters hear them. Grace and the children can hear them or see them as they bleed through. I thought that was really cool.
Ghosts. Like they're the ghost to them. The
Yeah.
living are the ghosts
Yeah.
to the dead.
Yeah.
But the other ghosts are also ghosts to ghosts. Ghost to ghost AM with
It's
our pal.
Ghostception. And there's one point where I didn't notice the first time watching it, where the brother and sister are laying in bed, and somebody keeps throwing open the curtains,
Yeah.
and it's Victor, but you think it's like the little brother thinks it's his sister, and like the girl's having a conversation with Victor, and like somebody's doing Victor's voice, and the little brother still thinks it's his sister teasing her. And at one point, the little sister says, "Touch my brother's face to prove that you're here." And then you see a little hand touch his face, and it's a different sleeve than like different clothing than what the little girl's wearing. So
Yeah.
at that point, it was actually Victor.
Yeah.
So there's all these little clues that like from out throughout the movie that I didn't notice the first time, that shows you that that Victor's and his family are real.
Yeah. Little clues here and there
I felt so happy for the little kids, though, at the end, and their mom.
that they got to be in the sun.
They can be in the sun, and everybody can be happy. Maybe mom can work on forgiveness.
But forever?
And
How long
kids
they
will
gonna be
never grow
there?
up. Now we don't even talk about her husband who appears from the mist when things are
So
getting
did
real
that
bad.
mean he died,
He died in the war.
and that's how he came back? Okay.
Yeah. And why he also said he had to go back to the front even though the war was over.
Why did he have to go back?
Because I think that's where he died.
He's in the loop.
Yeah.
He still thinks the war's happening because
Oh.
like how she still thinks the war just ended,
Okay.
and how the people that live in the house are
Yeah.
now,
Right.
out of that for a few years.
And like he has some unresolved things. That's why I think is keeping from him moving on, because he didn't leave just because of the war. He left because he felt trapped in that house too, I think.
Right.
Because it was already haunted by the servants by then.
Was his
But
family
I don't
already
think they knew that.
dead?
No, but what I mean is like, who knows what they went through when
Yeah.
those characters
Oh,
were
yeah.
alive,
Uh-huh.
because the servants clearly have been haunting this house like that whole time too, right?
You know,
They
all
must have
good
been.
questions.
If we're following the TV show Ghost Rules,
Well,
which is surprisingly close to this movie.
Well, what are the ghost rules? Because the they changed clothes several times.
They do change clothes.
So
not in the series Ghost, they don't.
But in this movie, like they changed clothes several times. So do they have a separate set of ghost clothes just
they
laying
must
around?
have some ghost clothes.
And they
ghost
eat
wardrobe.
And they eat a couple times in the movie and eat and drink.
Yeah. Ghost food.
Is that ghost food?
Interesting.
Eating your nasty food. Your nasty ghost food.
And do they poop?
Oh, ghost poopies.
Really good questions. Uh-oh.
And also, this movie could have been...
we pulled too many threads.
Yeah, I know that. But that's what we do, Amy.
I know. We pick.
We can't just let things be.
Nope.
I feel like this movie pairs really well with the not PBS, but I think BBC did the Woman in Black, like the one from the 70s. You remember that?
Oh, with the real long...
It had like they're way out. The house was way off on the moor, and then the guy had to have him go down to the generator to get the lights going again.
Yeah,
that was the same feeling that the others gives me. Super spooky. It's just a really, really good ghost story.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, the movie is just saying you move on into another plane of existence in some way when you die, like another dimension.
But she's still in her house.
But sometimes dimensions, they bleed into each other, and that's how we see.
So the common thing is the house
and Loch Ness monsters, because they're coming from other dimensions, and it bleeds through sometimes.
If we were to reference Ghost, how we started this whole thing, remember he said it's all in their head, that there's even a floor there. Vincent Schiavelli, the subway ghost.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no floor. You think there's a floor? You think these children are really here? These pajamas are not real, man. These are what you thought pajamas were when you were alive. It's very much that. There's your answers.
And all right.
Like they brought their eating a couple of times. Like who restocks the ghost pantry?
It's always full.
It is.
I think it's always full. Yeah.
And do they do?
Being a ghost sounds
and
fun.
Also, are the servants gonna be servants for the rest of eternity for this lady?
I know that does not seem nice.
Because at the end, she was like, "Should I make us a nice cup of tea?"
Yeah, she's still doing shit for her. I think there was a lot of love from that character. She seems so sinister through most of the movie, she's hiding something, which she is. But like that end, and also the way they try to let them figure things out without the shock of seeing the graves.
That's another one of my questions. Like, what are the ghost rules? Why can't you just the servants just say, "Hey, lady, you dead?
You dead?"
And like they kept saying, like she has to discover on her own.
Yeah.
Like, what are the implications of her not discovering it on her own?
Apparently, it's not good because, or at least they're just so kind about her not taking it so hard. That they're I love when the minute they're told to start looking for graves on the property that he's dumping all the leaves, Mr. Tuttle, on the gravestones.
I feel there's a gentle way to tell Grace that, hey, can you Grace? You need to sit down. I need to tell you something.
You dead, honey?
You dead, and you killed your kids.
Too much.
Instead of putting through her through the psychological torture of hearing sounds and the curtains being stolen. And
I'm relieved that she wasn't on a loop.
Who stole the curtain?
That would have ruined the movie for me.
It was Victor's family.
Oh wow!
I think
they took him down.
Yeah.
I don't know why they never said why they took him down.
I think that's because they're moving in.
Yeah,
and they just want the old stuff out.
They changed their mind though at the end of the movie, don't they?
They left.
Yeah.
But we don't know
Although it's another question I had. Like, sensibly, this Grace and her family were living there for years. But she still discovers all these little things. You didn't go into the other rooms the whole time.
Think about in the beginning. She says there are 50 doors with locks on them on the property in the house.
But still, when you got nothing to do, I'd be nosy as fuck.
Locking doors.
You and I, yes. These are aristocrat types.
Yeah.
They don't appreciate what they've got. They do not. But I love the house. I love the, like you were saying, the sounds of the house is so good.
Oh, the creaking.
The forbidden piano plays a role too, where not only does she lock up the door and she locks up the cover for the piano keyboard. And I'm trying to remember, wasn't there a specific reason she didn't like the piano?
Migraines.
Because of migraines, that's right.
She's making people with migraines look like pains in the ass. And as a person with migraines,
Amy,
I am a pain in the ass.
Don't you feel seen?
I feel seen.
When I play piano, does it upset your migraine?
If I'm having one, yeah.
Yeah, you would tell me though, right?
Well, of course.
Yeah. See,
like, shut the
that's all you had to do.
up. That's what
Grace, You just had to scream, "Shut the fuck up." Who was playing? Did they say who played
The
piano?
dad,
The dad?
because the little girl said like the dad's a piano teacher.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
How'd they afford this giant fucking
I guess piano teaching pays a lot back then.
back
Yeah.
then?
I love when she has to separate the kids during their lesson.
It's an estate, for fuck's sake.
That just gives you a sense too of the scope of the house when she's going back and forth. It's like that sitcom scenario where a guy has 2 dates and he has to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Right.
But this one is like it's constant red herring back and forth for where a ghost is. She thinks the kids are making the sounds, and she split them up just so they would work on their stuff. But they're both in equally spooky rooms.
Mm-hmm.
One, the little boy has a nice big old fireplace roaring behind him, and the little girl's in some sort of wood study. This fucking house, man. Gorge.
I feel bad for they had 3 servants for this huge ass house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's not enough servants.
You're not gonna be able
Well,
to maintain.
she
this.
mentions there used to be 15.
Yeah.
Is that right?
but
Something
like
that?
but then these like group of 3 workers come up and said, "We'll
Yeah.
take care of the whole thing."
Grace
for you.
smothered all the other servants with pillows. She worked her way through the whole staff.
She's a menace.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was one big pillow. She killed 15. She smothered 15 people at one time with
She has
with a giant pillow.
Efficient. Efficient menace.
She goes on a waiting list if she tries to buy more pillows. Like when you have to get a gun.
You simply have to.
When you have to. When you just must.
Amazon was like, "Why do you keep getting pillow deliveries? Is there a pillow subscription service?"
There's got to be. Anything else you guys want to say about the others?
No.
Did we miss anything?
I was thinking, like, there's all these conversations about like overlooked performances at the Oscars, and everybody brings up like Lupita Nyong'o and Florence Pugh and Toni Collette as and Mia Goth recently as like horror performances that should have got nominated for
Horror
Oscars.
bitches
And
that should have gotten.
I feel like definitely Nicole Kidman should be in that conversation too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie is so fucking good.
Because all the genre awards programs gave her Best Actress for this. And then the Goya did too, which is a big deal in Spain.
Well, she had a really big year in 2001 because she had Moulin Rouge come out.
Oh, yeah.
And then this.
She almost didn't do this because of Moulin Rouge. Like she just didn't want to do something so dark after that.
Yeah.
But she did it. Thank God.
Makes you
And-
want to get a ring of keys. Just jingle them.
I mean, nothing's stopping you. You have keys for your car. Just carry them around the whole time.
You want a
But
key
they're
ring
not
with
big
50 keys on it?
Skeleton keys. They're not clankety clanking. I need clankers.
Big clankers.
Big
Big
clankers.
honk honk. Or clank clank.
Clank clank.
I know what. Well, I know what you're getting for Christmas, Amy.
Thanks, Andy.
So when like at Christmas morning, you're gonna pick up the box and you shake it. Like I wonder what it is.
Clank, clank, clank,
And you
clank,
hear
clank.
just keys clanging.
It's just a bunch of keys. Hope you like keys.
I do.
All right.
You can go to like antique malls and just buy old keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Just FYI.
Did you want to move on to the algorithm?
Sure.
I got something. Takashi's Castle. If you guys don't remember this show from the 80s and 90s, it was
I do not.
it was
do
like
not.
we got it like I think dubbed, and it was kind of the joke was a lot of it was that it was dubbed, but it's an obstacle course.
Like Wipeout.
Wipeout is a ripoff kind of.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Takashi's Castle. Yeah, but now they have a new one as of like 2023, which I just found out about. It's new to me, and it's so much fun. It's on Prime. Takashi Castle Japan, or Takeshi's Castle. Sorry, Takeshi's
Takeshi.
Castle Japan. It's so much fun. The hosts are so
Like what's the
fucking great.
premise?
It's
They're teams.
Takeshi has a castle, yeah, and then they have teams that are storming the castle. So the obstacle course is everything leading up to the castle. But the show's like big time absurdity. So it also has like a giant AI head that talks to the 3 hosts, and one of the hosts sits in a big elaborate throne, and he's supposed to be the like the leader. He's Takeshi, I guess. And then he's got these 2 funny sidekicks, and then they got like line judges, characters, everybody, and they have a merman in the moat. And all the stuff is really absurd and hard to do.
There was one team, I watched a little bit of it, and one team were all just wearing little diapers,
Yeah.
like thong diapers.
Sumo diapers.
Sumo
yeah.
diapers with their little butt cheeks hanging out, and did everything that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you said, they had to storm the castle, but what did they do when they stormed the castle?
Well, one of the things, for instance, my favorite is there's this maze that they would do, and it's on a platform and there's on water, and it has doors that it looks like, imagine a honeycomb, Now you have to run to escape. Like they put like pro wrestlers and all kinds of people in there as guards, but you have to run to escape them. But if you're running and you hit one of the doors on the perimeter, it just opens out into the water. So you lose all your forward momentum. You can't stop. So that one's a great time. And then my other favorite is they have this thing where they have two pods it's a roller coaster on either side, and they shoot each other.
Parallel to each other.
Yeah, parallel cars on tracks shoot each other with the villains have big like basketball size balls, and then the contestants have like baseball size balls.
Big clankers.
Big clankers.
Let's get that trending.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time.
Big clankers.
And then when I ran,
is there prizes?
I think it's cash. Yeah, it's 100 million yen, I think, which I don't know how much that is in US dollars. Who knows? I'm sure somebody does.
The Google knows.
But then that led me to find that there's a new season of Last One Laughing in the UK, and that is fucking great too.
Is that a game show too?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's all for
comedians.
charity. It's comedians all in a room, and you can't laugh. And if you do laugh, then you get kicked out, and the last one left wins for their charity.
So
6 hours.
What are they? Are the comics telling stand up to them or?
Well, they're all doing all kinds
anything.
of bits.
They do one thing. They call it their
Joker.
Their Joker, which is where everyone has to sit in an audience and they're on stage and the person does a bit, and the rest of the time they're just hanging out and
trying to make each other laugh.
And they're stuff. They throw twists in.
I was like trying to get the palace guards to break.
Yeah, and they've
It's
done
so funny.
probably almost a dozen. Paul Gauthier originally introduced us to it.
There's Canadian. There's UK. We watched
Ireland.
Did they do a US one? No.
They've never done a US one.
You really need to.
Yeah.
I would not last. One fart joke and I'm done.
Somebody got on a poop joke. I thought it was very funny. I was like,
you get a yellow
even
card,
professionals.
and before they kick you out, you get a warning. It's fun. Jimmy Carr hosts it with I can't remember her name, but she works with Ricky Gervais all the time. Anywho, she's real funny. She's on Afterlife, I think.
Richard Ayoade
Oh yeah, Richard Ayoade's in it.
is on this season.
Unbreakable so far.
So far.
Tom Green was like that in the Canada series.
He was so funny.
God damn. I forgot how funny that guy could be. Yeah, it's a good time.
I tried to play along a little bit myself as I'm watching it, and I'm fucked.
Yeah,
Your charity would get nothing.
You can't even smile.
You can't even smile.
Can't even smile.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Carr has been a little more lenient on smiles than the other hosts have been, because it used to be if you even cracked a smile, they'd get you.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Carr he puts it in context. He says, and they have that one comedian who has real big teeth, and they say it always looks like he's smiling. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
But if you watch the show, you'll know.
It's on Prime.
Yeah,
Fun.
good time. You have anything else, Amy?
Yeah, I have been rereading Helter Skelter. It's the #1 best-selling true crime novel of all time about the Manson family murders.
Like, what made you want to reread this?
We were talking about Charles Manson for whatever reason with my mom or something. And I was like, Helter Skelter, that was a good book. I remember really enjoying that when I read it back in like high school. So I was like, hey, let's make a revisit, shall we?
So is this like considered the definitive work on like the Manson family?
It's the guy who was the prosecutor, Vincent Bugliosi. So he was the one who actually put him away.
Kind of a controversial book, really. If you like, there's a lot of people that don't like what he did with it,
right?
Who are involved. I mean, yeah.
You mean like the family?
I don't remember who, but I just remember there being like kind of a stank a little bit on him.
You know who I bet stank?
Yeah,
the family.
Tex.
Yeah,
for sure. Armpits.
Just living out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
they just did not look like they were people who cleaned themselves a lot.
True.
And I'm allowed to say that about murderers. I can be mean to them.
Also, they are people who didn't clean themselves a lot.
I can't imagine they did, Andy.
So is it pretty
Free love.
Is it pretty graphic?
It has a lot of pictures in it, but I am reading an ebook version that does not have the pictures. But I do have a copy of the novel. It's just in my attic, and I didn't feel like going up there to get it. So
the first time I read it was your copy of it.
Yeah. I had an old copy that I got from the Book Rack, which is a used bookstore. It was like an old yellowed copy. Oh, I should find it because I bet it smelled amazing.
I think it's up there in the attic. But I think that was the first true crime book I may have ever read.
Me too.
Yeah.
Or no, that's not true. Anne Rule would have been my first. And her whole tale of befriending Ted Bundy.
The Killer Beside Me, I think is the name of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've been a ghoul since high school.
Yes, I was raised by a ghoul.
Yeah.
So I come by it honestly. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now.
You're a hipster ghoul. Like I was reading true crime before everybody else was.
I was visiting where Susan Smith drowned her kids before you did. So that's true. I did go there because my mom wanted to stop.
My mom used to read True Detective magazines.
Oh, me too.
And that's why I think that was some of the early exposure to stuff like that. But when I had Helter Skelter, it was one of those things we commiserated on. We related on.
Yeah.
We're like, these people are scary.
This is very terrifying.
So is it a respectful account of the story of them?
Well, it's a biased account. It's from the guy who prosecuted them. Maybe if I read something different, I take that into account when I read it. Plus, he's a man of his time. He was born in the 30s. There's maybe he's not super respectful about the way he discusses Black Americans.
Yikes.
He says 23 skidoo a lot.
Does he really?
I don't know. I haven't read it since I was in high school.
But yeah, it's just of its time. You know what I mean? It was written in 1970 or it was published in 1970. So.
Is it kind of icky that he wrote a book about it? I mean, is he profiting it off of?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he did, and I bet he made a lot of money.
You know what? That's probably the stink I was talking about. It's probably just that.
Yeah.
That he was profiting off of it is probably considered. Back then, now everybody does it.
Right.
By, any major case, it seems like a book comes out.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Many books come out. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a well-written book. I couldn't speak to the actual factualness. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is a person that had an up-close front row seat to it all. So, I mean, I do believe a lot of it. But again, biased.
Is it a long book?
Yeah. I mean, it's about medium.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Under 400 pages, right? Maybe. Somewhere around there. Speaking of books, I finished Holly. I forgot to mention that is A+. Highly recommend Stephen King's Holly. Yep. Takes that character from the Mr. Mercedes, the Bill Hodges trilogy. Like, it's his favorite character now, I think.
Yeah.
And he really is just speaking through that character like crazy. Unique. Great character. What about you, Andy?
Yeah.
It's an interesting segue because you watched Red Helter Skelter. And it's and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a fictionalized account of that.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched Honora, starring, the Best Picture winner this year.
Yeah.
Starring Mikey Madison, who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Was she one of the Manson family?
Yeah, that's like I said, she got kind of her big break.
Yeah.
And another connection, she was supposed to be at HorrorHound last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And she canceled because she was doing publicity for Honora. So when they booked her, it was a big deal because she was on the verge of her a big breakout, and everybody was just waiting for her to cancel, and she actually did. But good for her.
Yeah.
She's working, booked and busy.
Yeah.
We'll see her in 20 years.
Yeah. when the Oscar hasn't paid off and she's back doing conventions.
Yeah. Happy 20 years to HorrorHound,
movie
by the
was
way.
she in?
Scream 6.
Scream 6.
6, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm real bad at remembering things.
And fun fact, she got set on fire in both of those movies.
Oh, good for her.
So it's kind of her thing now, getting set on fire.
Wait,
she gets set on fire in Honora?
No.
Oh, wait. You'll see. Don't spoil anything for her.
Spoil
she's
what?
not.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't you worry your pretty little head, Amy.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's really good. She gives a really good performance, obviously, because she won the Best Actress Oscar.
Yeah.
And it's a really simple story, not a simple story, but it's just a slice of life. It takes place mostly in a day.
Honora, you mean?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The lead up is she's a stripper and a sex worker.
Was this the Florida Project guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she meets this really rich Russian kid. Like he's 21. He's here on his parents' dime, and he's just living it up. And he meets her at a strip club, and they start this whirlwind romance, and they get married in Vegas. And it's the fallout from that, from his oligarch family, as to like get this marriage annulled.
Dude, topical.
Yeah, and it was at times hard to watch because of the way the world is right now.
Yeah.
Just the way that these super wealthy have so much control and power over everything, and it kind of plays out in this movie. So
Really?
yeah, so you have to be kind of ready for this movie if you're worried about the state of the world.
If you're scared of Russians, you mean?
No, not just Russians, but like oligarchs, people with that much money and how much power and influence they wield.
Yeah.
Is hard to watch in the beginning, just to see this spoiled brat of a kid just get away with so much stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get under your skin.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, but it's not like the character of Honora is this like heroic character. Is she's very flawed, very naive, very young. It's just a lot of people making really bad decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could handle all that.
Yeah. Too stressful.
Too stressful.
Yeah. And that's one of the good things about this movie. This movie felt like an anxiety attack. Is watching one because it was just so anxiety inducing. There's so much happening. Yeah. No, it's good in the sense that
Powerful.
that's what the attention was. I think.
Okay,
And,
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this would pair really well with Good Time, the Safdie
I
brothers.
still haven't watched Good
the
Time.
Safdie brothers movie, because
Yeah.
that kind of like takes place in like a day too, and there's all these like antics that both characters like get into within the night, a day.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a good pairing, actually.
I like those kind of movies.
Yeah, and it's actually and Nora's really funny at times too. There's like a Three Stooges element to it.
Oh, really?
Because the henchmen that are tasked with getting Honora and the rich kid, finding them and getting their marriage annulled. It's very slapsticky at times.
Right.
Yeah.
It probably needed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Funny.
Yeah, so
So-
I'm fancy. I watch Best Picture
I
winners.
know. Look at you.
Before you dig into our beautiful Beelzebub babies, we got to pick a theme for their next series.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love this part.
Just love picking, don't you?
I like picking anything I can pick. My
Gamified.
nose.
We should put them in your underwear so you can pick it up.
You're crazy.
What we got?
We've got DNA splice movies.
Is this one of yours, Andy?
Yeah.
DNA
I
splice.
love that subgenre. Like,
Give me an example.
Splice.
Splice.
I haven't seen Splice.
Are we starting with
What's the
Splice?
Natasha Henstridge movie?
A species.
Species. That's a really good one.
Does she combine her
Oh.
DNA with the humans? Is that what she's doing? I haven't seen that in forever.
We should watch
So
it.
we got two.
We got two.
We already figured out two, I guess. Do you want to do Splice? I've never seen
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And
Have
then
I seen it? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
There's a couple. Like, if you look, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah, we'll see what else they got.
But there's
We'll
some
probably
trash
do
out
those
there.
two, though, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Sounds like something.
Isn't there
we
a
do.
sequel to Species that's
I
better
think
than
so.
the first one?
Maybe. And Natasha Henstridge has been in HorrorHound a couple times.
That's right.
So I was thinking the title could be Splice to Meet You.
Splice to meet you.
Perfect.
But it's meet MEAT.
Or maybe, since if we're being topical, Ice Splice.
Ice Splice.
I like
Yeah.
Splice to meet
Or the Spice
you.
Girls.
Splice Girls. Splice to meet you. Is
Yeah.
Splice to meet you pretty good. You might have to text that to me so I remember when I make the thing.
When I make it a thing.
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be just human DNA mixed.
Just some
Together.
DNA splicing.
I'm just tinkering with DNA.
Yeah. What's that? What's that from the first season of South Park? Like, pig and elephant DNA just don't mix.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do Island Dr. Moreau.
We've already done that
Have we?
one. Well, we did the original.
Oh, we can do the remake.
Have we didn't do the one with Brando.
The universally loved remake.
There's a riff tracks. of
There's
it,
a whole
so we
great
can-
documentary
we'll
about
watch
making that movie too.
Yeah, I think it's a ripe subgenre of
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Ripe.
I'm into it.
Oh, we didn't mention Patreon too. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Let's talk
about
about
to
that.
do that. Patreon.com/NOTLP is where all the extra stuff goes for your money. You give us money, we give you extra stuff.
Ad-free show.
Ad-free shows,
Ad-free
other content.
Zoned out.
Topicana Origins, and there's also merchandise that you get for being a patron. So if you're interested, patreon.com/NOTLP. Over there, if you're a Beelzebub, we always say your name at the end of every show.
Yeah. And these Origins were in Trauma Month, by the way, from 2012 back in the day. So if you're a Trauma fan, it's a good time to sign up for Patreon.
Yeah. Back in 2012, is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. Beelzebubs are.
if we did a trauma month this year, we'd call it Bad Tromance.
Bad Trauma.
I always have that joke in my pocket, like trauma.
We got to catch up with our trauma friends this weekend.
Yeah.
That was nice.
All right, back to the Beelzebubs. Matt, Branan and Emily, Jeffel, Iona Goodwin,
On a great one.
Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Billsterd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordache Jeans, Monica, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora, Ernest, Dave, and Paul.
Yay, thank you. And we just saw Paul recently. And
Yeah.
We did.
the
We had
lovely
a great
Shana
time.
and Jennifer and Leroy. So great to see our friends.
I love the way HorrorHound brings people into my life again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead. And Igor made the nachos in a severed human head, and they enjoy the movie with their friends. David Kessler walks the streets of London